All right. Thank you for joining us, beautiful people. Today we have an amazing guest, Rachael Middleton. She is what I would consider to be a master astrologer. Has been studying it for I think over 20 years now.
No, not that long. Since 2007.
Since 2007, hell of a long time. And now she's also a heavy duty student of human design. So we have a really interesting show today. We're just going to be talking about astrology and human design and how they're connected. And I'm really excited to finally get this discussion with her in because
Yes.
she's been blowing both me and Nelson's mind for many years. And her mastery is finally on a level that we gotta share this with the world. So Rachael, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you guys. Love you forever.
Love you.
Yeah. So I kind of want to just intro in and talk about Nelson's more interested in the astrology side. I'm more interested in the human design. I'm really interested in both, but I think both of us together will come in and we'll have our own line of questioning. So I kind of want to Nelson wants to kind of start off and ask, in your opinion, like what is astrology and why does it work?
Yeah.
Simply put.
Wonderful question. Amazing question. So good. Additional question. Astrology basically is, first of all, always astrology, no matter what kind of astrology, because there's many kinds of astrology. There's Vedic. Right now on the world plane today, there's multiple types of astrology. I would say there's three different main schools. There's the Chinese, which it's recently been the Chinese New Year. You hear about all these stuff. These are the oldest main schools, the Chinese, and then there's the Indian or the Vedic and the Western, which has historical lineages. But so there's the astrologies, and then there's within all of those sects many different types. But it's always a human experience with the cosmos, the stars. It's
Okay.
Astrology is a relational, it's all human based as a cosmology, as a relational thing with the cosmos. So pretty much whether you use even the sidereal or tropical model, it's based on some kind of cyclic planetary um, motion and how human beings interpret that meaning in their life.
Let me ask you this, because I know that with of course the placement of the stars and where we are in the universe and how everything is relative. Of course, what I'm curious about is how it's we're able to see a predetermined sort of you know pattern or how we're able to kind of look into the future a bit and give a little bit of insight on what we may go through in life just
Mhm.
based off of the stars.
Right. Why does it work?
Why does it? Yeah, exactly.
Well, because think about it like this. There's your own image of the person, and then there's all the rest of the world, right? There's everything you know and everything that's going on, and there's the whole universe. So astrology takes into account the universal influence and your personal influence and how those two things combine. So when you have an analysis that combines your own destiny and will and influential human differentiated thing and also grand neutrino force that is influencing everything, it's a really good perspective to be able to align those two things.
Mm,
So when you say that it combines the influence of your own sort of personality along with the influence of the universe, I guess that would be what the natal chart is, like a snapshot of the cosmos when you were born, and then how it relates to the cycles going forward.
Well, yeah. So time is a thing that can be present, past, or forward. And so astrology can be it's really time focused, really, and that's what's cool about it. It's like a lens that can take you like in any kind of like a time incremental. But and so I like really follow the transits personally, which is like how the planets are moving in real time and how that impacts me personally as like a transmitter, basically as a human being. And you can see that through how your natal chart, or if you're studying human design, your human design. And astrology is also like a very great lens for historical human like relationship with cosmology, because the stars are like a very, you can think of it as like a heavenly thing, like a divinatory thing.
Right.
And people on earth are like transmitting or communing with this otherworldly focus, is seen throughout time, in different ways throughout the astrologies in different times and places
Let
as
me
well.
let me let me ask you this, Rachel, because I know, speaking on like, as far as the planets, and because you said, you were very interested in like how the planets really, relate to you and how they affect you. So I had a question. Andrew was talking about one time how, there are, particular moments in life that are very impactful, and he was speaking on Saturn return and Uranus and stuff like that. Can you touch a little bit on that?
For sure. Yeah, because or like, okay, so like if you were to think about our lives as human beings like a movie, and there's certain like points in the movie that are like climaxes or like highlights or like big turning points in the whole plot line.
The hero's
Right.
journey.
What exactly? Like what the transits really show. And in some way they're the same for each person. Like every person is going to have this Saturn return experience between the ages of 20 and 30, this maturity thing of adulthood. And same way, a midlife crisis point in or turning point of 180-degree revolution of like redirection, like possibility,
Which
life.
is that the Chiron return at age 52?
Uranus opposition in the 36 to 40 years. And then Chiron return happens in the 51. And this is a big thing in the human design system, the Chiron return that happens at 51. But either way, and all these like outer planet transits, Saturn and beyond, are big deals for evolution of consciousness and also our like transpersonal reality, whatever we're here to do as a soul beyond our like small lives and in our greater lives, whatever that.
So I remember you were telling me that Saturn was the last planet in the line where we can't see with the visible telescope.
That we can
Can't see.
Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn sky, but Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, and all those other planets, you have to use a telescope in order to see them. Like the human eye is incapable of seeing them because they're not that bright. So Saturn is the least of the brightest of that you can actually see. So on a certain level, if you think about that in what like luminescence and that like impact has, like Saturn is real. Like Saturn is the last boundary of reality. Like Uranus breaks all kinds of boundaries and like revolutionizes what is possible for everyone. And Neptune and all those, Pluto and the there's a lot of other planets even beyond that that you think, and also like once you break that Saturn boundary, which we all have, like so human design, which we haven't even talked about yet, but like Uranus is a huge fucking thing in human design and like modern astrology, Uranus, like once we break the Uranus barrier, like, and you're an Aquarius, Andrew, like Uranus is like a big fucking planet in astrology. It rules astrology in like and so like it revolutionizes things and it's a big motherfucking like game changer.
Right.
And
No,
once it things like what it does is it like makes things available which were never available before. And that's where we're at in like reality right now. Uranus is in Taurus. It's like it really changing things because it's in relationship with Saturn, which is what the old form represents, Saturn. And Uranus is the new form. And both of those planets are so crucial to Aquarius, which you want to talk about the age of Aquarius, but and Andrew, you are an Aquarius, and like there's a lot of people on the earth right now that are a little bit younger than you, Andrew, that have a huge stellium in Aquarius. That you have in your age group the huge Capricorn stellium, and then there's the huge stellium in Aquarius. I know you were asking me before about like these generational astrology people. Like
Hmm.
that is a cool thing to think about because there are these generational groups that have come here to do something really like particular.
Yeah, so Nelson might not know this, but what we're talking about is generational type of similarities. So I've seen a lot of people born in 1990 have this massive Capricorn stellium, meaning
Oh,
stellium is when you have three or more planets in
one house or basically, right?
one sign.
Oh, sign.
Um, so yeah, I have a massive Capricornian influence, even though I'm an Aquarius. I have like 6 planets in Capricorn, so I have a very strong Capricorn influence. And I've seen a lot of people born in 1990 that also have that same influence. So what she just said is that a lot of people that are younger have experienced that same stellium, but now in Aquarius.
I see. And let me ask you this. I mean, just as far as to someone like me, right, or any one of my colleagues who really don't know too much about astrology, as far as you hear houses, you have this in your house, or you have this in your sign, for example, like you just pointed out. What is the real difference, and like how would I, be able to differentiate the two?
Okay, so great question. So the signs are set up based on the ecliptic, which is the zodiac, which is the circle of stars in the sky that the sun, the moon, and all the planets move along. It's like the circle that they're all flowing on.
Right. Okay.
The ancient people separated that up into 12 different signs. So all of them move. So the sun right now is in what sign? Where's the sun right now? Um, I'm a great astrologer. Where's the sun right now? It's in Aquarius, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Um,
I think I don't know.
Bring some sign. That's like our clock. It's like a circle.
Right. Right. Right.
What the houses are is a freeze in that time space that like sets up your own chart. So like when Andrew was born, he was born at midnight. So the sun was at the fourth house. That was at midnight. I remember when Andrew was born. It was at like 12:15, right? Yeah, he was
Yeah.
at like so he's an Aquarius, but he's a Scorpio rising because the signs move every 2 hours in this in this the zodiac is a wheel that
Gotcha.
is the and it keeps moving all the time. And how the houses are set up is based on your birth time. So
Now,
that's
is that like the houses relate to maybe emotions, as opposed to your sign, having to do with your characteristics or your character, or how, is that how it kind of works, or no?
how it goes. It's that the houses and they say in ancient astrology that the ascendant first house is the first pin of the zodiac. So like when your soul gets pinned to the earth plane, the houses are set. And
Oh,
through the descendant, the IC, and the midheaven. Those are the 4 pins of the chart. It's like a tent. If you've ever gone camping and set up a tent, that's what we are here. We're souls camping on the earth.
so it
And so,
tethers you to the earth, basically.
yeah, we're camping here. And
Gotcha.
4 pins, the ascendant, which is ourself, the descendant, the other, the IC, which is where we're rooted, and the MC, which is where we go into the public sphere. And
Oh,
then the derivations of those of 12 go out into the other more like nuanced versions of what that means. It's the second house house, the third house, the ninth house, the fifth house, the 11th.
Yeah, that gives me an idea. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'll just explain like a quick what Rachel taught me one time. Oh, sorry.
Extremely personal. The houses are so personal. You have to have a birth time and a location to zoom in a fucking individual in the house's matrix. The signs are totally collective. They're for everybody. You could read signs, transits for every human being on the earth and everything living thing, period. But when you
Deep, right?
comes to like the personality and like who are you talking about and where they are on the earth and why does it even matter?
So Rachel, clarify if I'm what a simple way to understand the signs versus the houses is the sign is what that energy is, and then the house is how that behaves.
The house is where it's located. The house is why it's important to you that energy is focused. Where is that energy focused in a specific place? The houses are a place. The houses are a place.
Mm.
The house is synonymous with place in a more ancient term. Before they had the word house, they used the word place.
I can think of where I'm at, like mentally where I'm at. Got it.
Percent. And the house is the how or the like what. It's the more like specifically like what the fuck is even going on here and how is it manifesting in the and the house is where is it showing up? Is it me or somebody else? Is it like where I'm coming or where I'm going?
Got it.
Mm.
Cool.
Okay.
That's awesome. And then
Yeah.
so let me ask you this. So and kind of because I see you touching on a lot. All this it seems to coincide with human design. What is human design? Tell me about that.
Okay, wonderful question. So human design is like one of the more modern metaphysical systems, and it incorporates astrology, the I Ching, the chakra system, but instead of just seven, it's 9 chakra systems, the Kabbalah, and also genetics and the neutrino stream. It was channeled material that came in the 80s or not, yeah, the 80s to this one guy. Uh, and but like it's an amazing I like to say it's like astrology 2.0 because um it really is like what it does is instead of looking at astrology with like just a circular chart, it looks at like the astrological influences within the body graph, which is like how like like astrology looks, if you look at like Hellenistic astrology, the only thing in the whole like chart that really talks about the individual is the first house. Everything else is like the whole environment that like that individual is living in. But if you look at the body graph is all about like all the different parts of the human being and their different like it's so nuanced and
Breakdown, right?
yeah. So as into a more advanced system, our systems for understanding metaphysics have also advanced. So human design is a synthesis system that also takes into I Ching. It's just like really like the most like forerunning system that I've found personally to understand like our consciousness and being on this plane as like
Right. Cool.
So that's so interesting. You've already given me a couple of insights into human design and just a little bit of tidbit that you've already taught me. I've kind of applied to my other understanding, and it was integrated pretty quick, but I admittedly don't know too much about it. So I wanted to just kind of touch on what you've taught me so far. And I know that you said that in human design that there's 3 main groups: the generators, the projectors, and then the manifestors. Can you explain what the differences are of those?
well, there's actually 4 groups. There's reflectors, which population. So it's like and there's really a fifth group too, the manifesting generators, which are a hybrid of the manifestors and the generators.
Did you say
Um,
the fourth one was the deflectors? Is that what you said?
reflectors.
Oh, reflectors. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So yes. Okay. So basically, human design classifies people into five different auric types. So when I say auric types, I mean like your aura, like your energetic, like the thing that exists outside your physical body, which includes your like spiritual resonance or whatever that is. That is like your energetic like beingness. So there's the masters, which are only like I think 9% of the population, which are the ones that are like initiators, and they have a closed and repelling aura. Then there's also the reflectors, which are the 1% of the population, which are like in representation to the manifestors, which are like the they're like they have no centers defined, and they're all about like calibrating or like reflecting the body. They're like they're completely like the greatest like amazing reporters. They're totally indifferent. They're like just completely giving a mirror to the environment.
Are they the masters of like in the meditation, or are those like the spiritual teachers, or
They're really into spirituality. People that are here as like, give a great service because they can reflect any environment that they're in, like totally unbiased. They don't have like a vested personal stake in any of the games, but so they're a great evaluator. Manifestors are really here to like impact and make change. Okay, so the vast majority of the people are generators or manifesting generators, which are a subtype of the generator. Very powerful subtype. Sorry, manifesting generators, to say subtype because they're very touchy because they're uh, um they're 70% of the population, and they are here to build and create and like do things, have the most energy here on the earth. I don't know what you are, Nelson. I need to look you up. I have your astrology information, but I don't have your
My astrological chart can tell you that.
yeah, so the human design chart is based on your astrological chart, your birth.
Oh,
So both Andrew and I are projectors. Projectors are the other type, which are here to more like the guide. We're interested in the other. We're to guide generators. Manifestors don't need guides; they're on their own trip. But projectors are here mainly to guide generators to use their creative forces most wisely. We don't have a sacral of our own, so we don't have a lot of our own energetic capacity. So on our own, like we're not here to initiate. We're here to wait for the invitation to give our guidance to others who recognize us as being able to give good guidance.
okay.
And yeah,
so you said that the projectors are a masters of systems, that what we do as projectors is we're fascinated and almost obsessed with systems in order to learn those systems and then project that understanding and those teachings to other people that have extended that invitation.
exactly. Yeah. So Andrew, think about this. Like you're a projector. Um, what I've asked this to other projectors that are I know in my life. What are the systems that you have mastered? I know some of the systems. You're my family, so I know some of the systems that you've mastered. Like, what can think about it? Like, even if they're like, oh my god, like I don't want to say this is a system that I've mastered. Like, I know all the projectors that I know have mastered so many weird systems. Like, it's like I know how this restaurant works. I master that system. Like I mastered that. Like when I was my first job I ever got at 15 years old was a hostess, and like I ran that restaurant. Like I like so also English. I like became like an English major, and I like used to be an English tutor. English language is a system, and I mastered that system, and I like sought out to master that. Astrology is a system, human design is a system. I'm seeking to master it. Andrew, I know you're like a master video gamer.
Yeah. Yep.
Like you mastered that like way early. Like there's a lot of sales things, like all sorts of weird systems.
Yeah, and so currently I'm in the process, as of the last, I would give it like 8 months now that I've been like an avid student of astrology. I've been a student of astrology ever since you started spitting game to me when I was like 15, 16. But I really took it serious and decided to become like a real student of astrology. And recently I've just been obsessed with, well, I've been obsessed with like occult art and study and like symbolism. Symbolism fascinates me, like what's with symbolism. And so it brought me to Hermeticism and the 7 different principles of Hermeticism. And one of the big, so I'm going over these 7 key principles like mentalism. The second principle is the law of vibration, or sorry, the law of correspondence, which is so big because a lot of what we're talking about in astrology is the law of correspondence, right? How does the effect of the massive macro effect of Saturn correspond to a more micro level of a human experience? And so what I'm seeing, the more I learn these things, is like the law of correspondence is everywhere. And so in a way, that's a system, right? Understanding Hermeticism is a system. Understanding the law of correspondence is a system that right now I'm seeking to master. And where it's brought me is the fascination and the study with these different occult sciences, why these occult sciences are relevant. In the beginning, it was things like symbolism. It was things like these, the satanic ruling body of the upper echelons of society, the oligarchs, and how they manipulate the population got my foot in the door. And it wasn't because I was so fascinated with wanting to become a Satanist or fucking, wanting to practice any of those things. I wanted to understand that system and why it was so effective. So now recently, current day, it's brought me to understanding different meditation techniques. And now I'm practicing meditation and I'm experiencing like the profound change that it can have on the law of attraction and just your own like mental psyche. So Nelson and I are studying a few different meditation techniques right now. And I personally think I'd be surprised to see if Nelson is not a projector, because he and I have that in common. We're like so obsessed with systems.
Well, let me ask you this, and I'm sorry to interject here, but I'm curious to find out. I mean, I kind of heard already what a projector is, but what is a manifestor?
So a manifestor is the type that is most here to initiate. They are like traditionally like the ancient like rulers. They like put out their like mandate, whatever they want to do. Their strategy. Okay, so in human design, every type has a certain strategy that they should follow in order to be most successful, or whatever, happy, satisfied, whatever. Projectors are mainly tuned into success for our keyword. And if we're not happy, we're bitter. Generators are most here to seek satisfaction. And if they're not happy, they're frustrated. Manifestors are here to seek peace. And if they're not happy, and impact. And if they're not happy, they're angry. And reflectors, if they're not happy, they're disappointed. And if they are, they're in a state of awe. So each one of us has a different like high and low, basically.
I have to be a manifestor.
What, you think you're a manifestor?
Yeah,
So
I get pissed sometimes. I'm like,
generator, because they deal with both anger and frustration and satisfaction and peace. That's also,
oh
and they're
God,
type.
could be that too.
Yeah, you could be, because that's a power type for sure. They're like yeah, grandpa's a manifesting generator, Gus is a manifesting. It's like I manifest like a real force to be reckoned with, and they're like like the thing that they struggle with most sometimes, I feel like, is impatience, because
Oh
they
my
want to.
God, that's me. Forget about it. That's me right there.
Yeah, and also like they have so much like that they're here to like do, and like they need a lot of like time alone to be able to like just do their own thing and create their own like that's something that is like not encouraged enough for them, I feel like, is that alone time, you know, because manifesting generators definitely are like super like productive in that alone space.
Yes.
You
Yeah.
know, I look you up, Nelson. I know you're a Virgo, so that like also resonates with the Virgo thing too, of being able to like produce in that like internal, like non influenced by the other space. You know, that like real like, you know, that's a big thing. Like I'm a Virgo moon and rising myself, so I have a lot of Virgo energy, and it's like that alone time, that like ability to like have a focused energy on just whatever it is that you're thinking and feeling and wanting to create in the world. That's very powerful. Like people underestimate it, and like I think a lot of times don't use it when it's available to them. Like I can't imagine really what it would be like to be bored. Like I haven't been bored for a long time in my life, you know.
That's good. You know, you're always being entertained. You're always up to something.
That's so awesome. So, um, for all the students of human design that may be watching this, what are some valuable resources that have helped you, whether it be a teacher on YouTube or maybe a
Yeah.
book? What are some valuable resources you could recommend for people wanting to learn more about human design?
Okay, so great question. I actually just started an amazing mentorship personally with a teacher that I really resonated with and found on YouTube. Her name is Leanne Wolf, and she is offering a mentorship, I think, currently still. It's a small group that's still there now. And it's an amazing opportunity. She has so many YouTube videos that are there, like with a encyclopedic knowledge. If you ever really got like the human design bug and you wanted to like research all the gates and the channels and everything, she's like so amazing. I really love her, and I'm so enjoying her mentorship. But other than that, like book wise, there's just so much great stuff on YouTube, even just free, like just researching like so much good stuff. But like Jovian Archive is the main like channel on YouTube, which has Uru, who's like main stuff, who's the founder of the systems, like personal like
What's the archive? What is that?
Jovian Archive, Jovian, Jovian Archive. And then there's the International Human Design School, has like just all kinds of like resources and classes available. And then there's like a great like app that you can get. It's Genetic Matrix. I love that. I have it for $9 a month. It's cloud-based like stuff, and you can use astrology and human design um charts and stuff like that, and it has a ton of like resources and educational stuff on that same site too, geneticmatrix.com. Even if you don't want to get a paid site, like I have for the pro, the like top thing is like $10 a month, which is amazing for like astrology or programs. Like I used to have to pay hundreds of dollars for like a good astrology program. So it's like really good to pay like a monthly like low entry cost thing. um but even the free thing, you can get like your own chart and then like the daily transits without paying anything. So I highly recommend Genetic Matrix. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. That is so much valuable resources right there. And I'm gonna eventually take my studies to human design and direct my awareness there, but I'm making such progress on astrology. Like I've got all the signs down. I've almost got all the houses down. And like the more I do it, I can read people's charts now. I've had a bunch of my friends like ask for readings. Like I gave Nelson's son a reading.
And you're doing pretty good at it. I might add.
I mean, it runs in my blood clearly. So, Rachel, I know you started doing professional astrology readings, and now you're starting to take on human design readings. Where can if people reach out to you and request a professional reading? Is your email the best way? FirstMagnitude@gmail.com, or is that what would they do there?
Yeah, fine. Or you can also go to my website, which is iheartastrology.net. I'm gonna soon start a podcast on human design and astrology with a friend of mine. It's coming soon. We haven't fully decided what the title is, but yes. Right now, it's either you can email me at firstmagnitude@gmail.com, or you can find my website at iheartastrology.net.
Okay. And I would just say that I highly recommend anyone interested in the reading, hit her up, because the knowledge that I've been getting since childhood has really shaped my life. Nelson got a reading.
Blow you to smithereens. I mean, that thing, she really, I mean, literally the last thing I remember you saying to me is like, I don't know, for some reason, I see a lot of great luck. And I swear I live with that every day. I feel lucky. You know what I mean? I'm like, nothing can touch me. I can fall and shit and smell like roses.
You know what she told me when I was like 16, Nelson?
What?
That I was destined to become a mogul, and that it would happen.
Hell yeah.
It would happen at a later age. It would happen later on in life, like 40, mid 40s or 50s or even 60s. But she did mention that I was I was prone to become a mogul. So
I'm never
that's
gonna lose
something
your
that
number.
that's something that sat with me forever. Another thing I was blessed to receive at like 14, 15, she told me about the concept of a Saturn return. So I feel like the sooner you can understand what a Saturn return is for people that are in their teens or in like their early 20s, if you can explain to them that at about 28 to 29 years old, they'll experience what the equivalent of spiritual puberty is. And I knew that since I was 16 or 17. So mentally, I was, even though I had little astrological knowledge, I was in a lot of ways mentally prepared. She planted that seed of like, hey, be prepared to hit spiritual puberty at about 28, 29 years old. So I've offered that same gift to so many different people. And
sure enough, I mean, it's, you see it most common than not, especially like with like artists who don't make it past that age, you know, particularly, or, you know, I mean, it's sad, but yeah, it's those are impactful moments, you know. I mean, I know I went through it. You know, with my dad passing and stuff. So, I mean, it's huge.
Yeah. So this was a great talk. I really look forward to having you on again, Rachel, for future talks. We're going to focus fire on certain things. Like we might next time talk about the signs, just specifically, or the signs in the houses. There's so much we can talk about and pick your brilliant mind with. So thank you so much for coming on.
We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you both so much, and it's been a pleasure to know you both all these years. Thank you so much for the world.
We're going big places, and I really can't wait to have another talk with you very soon. Thanks again, Rachel. And thank you everyone for listening.
Watching.
Please, if you found this information useful, like and subscribe to the channel. It is a new channel, and we're really going to be pushing a lot of content. We're going to have a lot of valuable and very intelligent people on. Really plan on going that extra mile. We've got a lot planned, so it would mean the world to us if you would like and subscribe. And thanks again for watching, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night or day.